Welcome back, and in this video we will be looking at how you can move objects around in Synchro. In this case it's going to be our detailed crawler crane. So I'm going to move the focus time all the way back so I can see less of the construction model and focus on the crane. And then I'm going to select that crane and make sure that nothing else is selected by looking at the indicator at the bottom. To be safe, you can just hit the escape key and then reselect your piece of equipment. And we're going to look at three different types of manipulator. That's right-click, edit, simple manipulator, advanced manipulator, and manipulator with snapping to element. So the simple manipulator allows you to move the object along each axis. You can also use that point here to move the object, but it's recommended to always stick to the axis. This way you know where you are in the 3D space. You can also rotate the model around any axis. In this case, it doesn't really make sense to do that, so I'll undo. Let's look at the manipulator, the advanced manipulator. The advanced manipulator also allows you to move across planes, so the horizontal plane and then the two vertical planes, and then also scale the model proportionally along each axis or specifically along the axis you select. However, this deforms the model and is usually not recommended unless you're working with a tower crane, for example, where you can get away with scaling along the z-axis. And then there's the manipulator with snapping to element. Before I show that, notice how here, even though the piece of equipment is not aligned with the axis, I can't really move it along the orientation of the equipment. So here's where the manipulator with snapping to element comes in. So I can click on that and snap on an edge and then move the piece of equipment through along that edge. And finally, I use the advanced manipulator the most just because it has a keyboard shortcut by default. So that's Control B like Bravo. I can click on that and then move my model around. Now, a more numerical way of moving the model is through the 3D Properties tab under the Translate heading. You can either use relative coordinates, which means that I can select my piece of equipment, say, for example, I want to move it 2 meters along the Y, and then keep clicking until I get exactly where I want to. Similarly, you can rotate, or you can use absolute coordinates. Now, to find coordinates in Synchro, you can click on Get Bounding Box, and tell you the box center, XYZ, as well as the closest and furthest point from the origin, as well as the range along each axis. And finally, to align things perfectly, you can use the Align feature, and that's under 3D Properties Align, where you can choose the object that needs to be moved first, and then the object that you want to move it to, and then in this case, we'll align the minimum of the moved object with the maximum of the reference object to be able to align the wheels to the floor. Now, the Align feature is also used whenever you import models from different coordinate systems, and they will be so far away from each other that when Synchro tries to view both at the same time, for example, when you click on the view cube, they'll be so far apart that you can't really see any. In that case, you can select the model from the 3D tree. So I would find the model in the 3D tree over here, then hold down the Control key, select the reference object, and use the Align feature. Finally, any transformations you make in Synchro can be kept after synchronization, or you can also reset transformations. So I'm going to right-click, edit, reset transformations, and this way if I completely deform the model, I can always go back to its original state and then move it again. So in this case, I'll just align it to the floor. Now for the next video, we're going to use edit as assigned. So in preparation for that, please move the piece of equipment so that it looks like it's supporting the construction of steel area 1. So I'm going to just click on that, Control B, and you can rotate the camera so that you can pick each axis you want easily. Otherwise, if you're looking at it like this, for example, then you won't be able to differentiate the blue and the red axis. And rotate it like this.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.